Breaking out of the echo chamber. Since the early 2000s, social media has become so much a part of our lives that most of us, especially the youth, can't imagine living without it. Why do we love social media? Among other things, it provides us a venue, a means to share ideas, thoughts, interests, and opinions that we have in common with other people. And we can divide like minded people into two: those who agree with us and those who don't. Thus, there are two kinds of feeds or content that we receive on our computers or smartphones. However, because of the so-called confirmation bias and algorithms, social media platforms make sure we get more of one side of every story. Even those who think they have balanced views are naturally drawn to a particular content online. Gradually, what seems to be a harmless choice of content develops into a polarized environment where the most emotionally charged opinions can sway one to have the same way of thinking. True enough, we discover information or gain knowledge through research, experience, and even wild hunches, and we get a natural high when what we learn matches what we already expected. In Filipino, we could call it the sabi na nga ba experience. So, it's not surprising that we constantly seek the same kind of content just to get, as often as possible, validation and approval. Social media platforms like Facebook and YouTube are successful precisely because they confirm what we already inclined to believe. Through adaptive algorithms that assess our interests, they constantly feed us with information that keeps us engaged for hours. The longer the time we spend on content we like, the more tech platforms make money. With this confirmation bias, we would tend to take anything at face value. This is dangerous because it can increase its hold on our thinking, leading us farther from the truth. To get around the tendency to jump to conclusions, humans have invented the scientific method, legal system, and judicial process, although the same systems are subject to it. Due to its ever increasing influence, social media has replaced the traditional gatekeepers of information that check the accuracy of every story. Although tech platforms have given us instant and ready access to information and help us discover online groups that value the same things we do, this has also created echo chambers. These are environments in which the user's opinions get reinforced by interacting with like minded groups while eliminating opposing viewpoints. Because of echo chambers, a large chunk of social media users has unfortunately lost the ability to dialogue. Long before the election campaign period officially began, keyboard warriors have been using social media as a battleground for attacking those considered to be a threat to their chosen candidate. Conversation threads made public, more often than not, are not healthy discussions, but vehement exchanges of so many hurtful words. No one is interested in what the other has to say, and when pushed to the corner, both parties even resort to using downright rude and vulgar language. Since the hardcore supporter will not accept anything that contradicts what he believes in, no amount of fact checking will make him consider valid points in a discussion or rethink his position. Even so, the phenomenon of echo chambers is not only limited to those perceived to be gullible victims of fake news. It can also be present even in those among us who fight for justice and truth. How is this possible? When we become self righteous and look down on others who think differently, we fail to dialogue, imposing our truth to the detriment of our relationship with them. Without us realizing it, fighting evil with evil only makes us worse than them. If we truly believe in and value unity, we would keep the doors of our hearts open to build a relationship with others based on honesty and respect. Engaging in dialogue is both a formidable task and a radical choice. There is no easy way to do it. A friend of mine openly posts her views on social media and, in turn, also invites others to explain their views. I admire her effort to accommodate everyone, whether they agree with her or not. Somewhere along her chat thread, emotions run high, tempers flare, and the words exchanged are interpreted differently by the persons involved in the discussion. Immediately, she tries to compose herself and makes an effort to calm everyone down. In the end, she thanks each one for being open to sharing their take on the issues discussed. As experience tells us, some people are not open to dialogue, but we must not be discouraged. Our goal is not to convert or convince the other to switch to our side. Besides, we cannot hastily judge or generalize those who choose a position different from ours. Each one has his or her own reasons. Knowing where they are coming from helps us in our effort to understand them and the choices they make. This openness to people outside our circle resonates with the path of synodality the Pope Francis has been promoting these past few years. The Holy Father invites the whole Church to journey together by mutual listening, engaging in dialogue to discern what God is telling us in these challenging times. Just as Jesus reached out to all in the Gospels, he calls the leaders of the church and the lay faithful to listen to everyone, including people who have left the practice of the faith, those of other religions, and even those who don't profess religious beliefs. Listening is an art that requires conscious effort, concentration, and interest. It is emptying our hearts and minds to be present to and welcome the person speaking. It's beyond hearing. It's trying to understand the other's thoughts and feelings to be able to enter his or her soul and being. If one is able to do this, there would be more harmony and peace in this world. A Muslim friend once gave the eulogy for his Christian friend who lived with them for some years in a predominantly Muslim country. He said, "In a country where intolerance is exalted, we have learned to listen without prejudice, without passing judgment. Our Christian brother taught us to do everything out of love, to be loved just by listening." In order to grow as church and as a nation, we need to go beyond our echo chambers. Let us do away with our tendency to be self absorbed and, with humility and compassion, open our hearts to others who may have a different way of looking at things. If we sincerely listen to them, it might turn out that we can learn something from them.